Hey everybody, do you like bling as much as I do? Check it out. I got bling here, bling on my rings, and bling here. I just love bling and I love making bling on my t-shirts, but I hate wasting so much money on buying that sticky flock. I'm going to show you a secret today about how you can make a lot of your rhinestone templates out of a material that's really inexpensive. Follow me down here to my desk and let's get started. Okay, here's some of the sticky flock that I'm talking about that you may not want to waste. This was just a test to try to see how well this would work. Now, for some of these things where the rhinestones are very close, you may still want to use sticky flock. But for some items where the rhinestones are not that close, I'm sure you could easily use the method I'm going to show you today. Like, for example, on this peace sign, it would be easy peasy. Instead of using a big piece of a sticky flock like this, you could use a piece of cardstock. That's right, you heard me right, cardstock. Now, this is a lot more reusable. You know, I can use this again and again and again, and I'm not so sure about the cardstock, but if it's something you want to use maybe once or twice, you know, the cardstock is the way to go. So here's a few more that I've done with the sticky flock. I mean, I could have easily done that out of cardstock. I've only used this once, and I've only used this once. So again, you know, if you're going to do somebody's monogram once, that might work. Now, I do recommend you test this because different kinds of cardstock would probably work differently. Here's some of my sticky flock. Here are two samples of ones that I use. This one has a texture on the back side, and this one does not, and both of these worked well. The next one I'm going to try is just this one right here that I probably got from maybe Hobby Lobby. I don't know, 100 sheets of all these pretty colors. Of course, it doesn't matter what color I use for this, so I'll just choose one of these. I'll choose, I don't know what to choose. What would be good for the camera? Maybe I'm going to do it on my chalkboard, so maybe I'll do the orange. No, let's say the orange. I might want them for pumpkins. I think I'll do the yellow. The bright yellow. And we'll try this one. So I'll set these aside. Okay, a couple other tools that you'll need to have, of course, are your transfer tape. Now remember, this is not the same kind of transfer tape that we use for our HTV. This is going to be a special kind because we do iron right on top of this. So you don't want this stuff to be melt. It has to be heat resistant. You also need the Sulky KK2000 because after you cut out your template like this, you're going to want it to stick down to your surface where you're going to work. So I use this Sulky KK2000. You can probably use any adhesive. That's up to you to test. But this, I spray the back liberally, making sure not to get on my work surface where I'm working. And then I put this down, and then I'm able to brush in the rhinestones, and I'll show you that in a bit. So one of the other tools that you can get is one of these tools called the Pick Me Up tool. I'll have a link for it down below so you can see just what it is. But this is by Silhouette. You may be able to use a crayon instead of this. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. But what this allows you to do is pick up individual rhinestones and move them wherever you need to move them. So it's a handy tool to have. All right, so let's go to my computer screen now and let's get started there. Okay, here we are over in Silhouette Business Edition, and I'm using the Business Edition today because I want to save this at the end as an SVG for my friends who use Cricut machines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the store because I need to buy this tiara right here because I have a friend who's going, well, little friend who's going back to school, and she wanted a tiara on her shirt. So I'm going to make her one out of rhinestones. I thought this would be super cute. So I'm going to buy it. And let's see. So I'm just going to go to Express because I've already purchased some credit here. And it's going to use 99 cents out of my credit. So I'm going to proceed. And I'm going to download the item to my library. And it's been added to my library, so I'm good to go. So I'm going to go over here back to Silhouette. I'm going to come up here to my library and look for the tiara. They should be in alphabetical order that I just purchased. Here it is. I'm going to double click on it to open it, and there it is. Now notice what it says here. This is really important for those of you who are not familiar with rhinestones. You cannot willy-nilly just change the size of these things because these rhinestones are set to a precise size and measurement, and they cannot be changed. This particular one is set. Let's look back here again. Let's go back here and let's go back to this. I'll cancel this. This says it is set for size 10 SS rhinestones. So that's the only size rhinestones I can use for this because these holes are going to be cut out to fit the 10 SS. And I cannot change the size of this tiara. It's going to be 5 inches by 2.7 inches. Okay, let's go back to Silhouette again. So it says, please remove this text before cutting, so I can select it and then hit delete on my keyboard. And now I am just ready to cut. I could go to send, and here it is. I'm ready to go to my Cameo if I had it turned on. I could change it. This is on simple right now, and it's showing me everything that's being cut. And if I was cutting this out of the cardstock on my Cameo, of course, I would change this to say cardstock plain, or it could be the heavy one if I'm using the heavy. Just leave it like that and it would cut it like this. However, I wanted to show you how you could also do this for Cricut Design Space. So what I would do for Cricut Design Space is I would probably grab all of these rhinestones, make sure I got them all, and come up here and color them a color so I can see them easily. And what I would also do then is come over here and get a box like that, the drawing tools, and just draw a box that I know that will fit behind it. And mine comes in uncolored. Yours may be set to come in with a fill already. I am going to change its fill color. I'll change it to yellow or orange. All right. And now what I want to do, whoops, I still have that selected, so let me Control Z to get rid of that. Come up here and get my select tool, select the rectangle, and say right click, send to the back. So there we have the tiara and the box around it. And I'm going to have that box around it because it's going to be nice to have that box when I cut this out. So what I'm going to do now for people who have Cricut Design Space, you do not want to send this over to Cricut Design Space like this, even though you can save it as an SVG. The reason being is every single one of these little rhinestones is going to come in as a separate cut file, and chances are that is going to mess up your Cricut Design Space software. So what I recommend that you do is go over all of these like this, highlight everything, and then simply come over here to the Modify panel. It's a rectangle and a circle, and click on that, which will open the Modify panel. And then all you have to do is click on the word Subtract. And that's going to cut those rhinestone holes right out of this item right here. And so now what this is, it's one item. That's not a bunch of little circles on top of this square. So now I can come up here to File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive. Now I'll only be able to save this as an SVG if I have the Business Edition, which is a one-time fee. It's about $56 if you'll use my link down below, and be sure to look for the coupon that I tell you about. But anyway, so I'm just going to name this Tiara. It's Tiara for Kindle. I'm going to save it as an SVG in my downloads. Save. Okay. So now we're going to come over here to Cricut Design Space. Open it up, and we're going to see what this looks like. Okay, it comes in just fine, and we're going to say save. There it is. Insert. Now there's one thing we needed to have done. Look at the size of this right now. It's 246, 2.456 by a little over 1 inch tall, and you can see that right up here as well. I need to go back to Silhouette and find out exactly how wide this rectangle is. So if I click on this, it says the rectangle is exactly 6.962. 6.962. So I'm going to go back to Cricut Design Space and change the width of that to 6.962. Of course, I made sure that the lock was locked so that when I hit enter, it's going to change it proportionately. So I'll hit enter, and there it is. And so this is going to cut out perfectly now. If you want to see exactly what's going to cut and you're a little worried, you can always come down here to where it says blank canvas. Click on that. When you click on that, that opens up a little color swatch right up here. You can click on that and make your background color anything you'd like, and then you can tell what's going to cut. Okay, so all of these little circles are going to cut out perfectly. So let's go to Make It and just check this out. So it's going to cut all the little circles out. It's going to cut your square out, and it's going to be done. So let's go to continue. Okay, I've already cut this out with my Silhouette, and now I'm going to take it over and spray the back with my KK2000 or my temporary adhesive spray. Don't want to get it on my chalkboard. Okay, so there we go. That's sprayed well. Bring it over here and place it on my chalkboard. Make sure it's nice and flat, especially around the edges. Okay. Then I'm just going to start brushing in my rhinestones, and I pour on more than what I think I need. And I begin by going in circles. Very light little circles, way light touch. And the rhinestones are shaped in such a way that they kind of bump each other in and flip each other over sometimes, so they'll go in there properly. So I can start moving some of the rhinestones out to see what's happening. And this is the hardest part since this is not very deep. So I don't know if using a heavier cardstock would be better, or maybe even a little bit of a cardboard, like maybe the backing that comes on some of the products, although I don't know if that would be too thick. So I'm just going to keep moving these out carefully until I see where I need to put some more back in. Alright, so at this point now, I probably start coming in with my little tool that I have, although I could probably flick a few more of these out carefully with my brush. I just do it very gently, kind of able to get them out of there. Okay, I'm noticing I don't have that many spots that I need to fix. Move these rhinestones out of the way. There's a bunch of them here that shouldn't be there. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now I'll just use this little tool, the pick-me-up tool from Silhouette, and you'll notice that's going to allow me to pick this guy up and place him right there where I'd like. Pick another one up. Let's see if we got some more in here that don't belong. We'll put him there. Okay, let's see. Pick him up. Put him over here. So it's really a pretty easy process. It just takes a few minutes. It's not any harder than weeding. And if you don't mind weeding, you certainly won't mind this. Especially when you know it's saving you a lot of money. See, these are some extra ones I don't need in there. See how easy it is to pick them up when you have this tool? It just has a little sticky on the end of it, and it lasts for a really long time because you can kind of screw it out if some of it gets used up. Oopsie, I took the wrong one out, but that's okay. I can move this one in right there. Couple more to remove. Looking really good. And you see how easily this cardstock worked? I mean, that wasn't difficult at all. So let's see, this looks good. Let's check the outer edge first. There's an extra I don't need in there. There's another extra. Okay, keep going around the outer edge. Okay, the outer edge looks super. Now let's check the inner edge. There's one. That looks really, really good. So I'm going to look at it from the side to see if I see anything, and I do right here. Sometimes it helps to kind of lay your head down and look, because then you can spy a couple more that might not be in the right spot. Okay, that looks really good to me. So now I'm just going to take my transfer tape after I make sure all the rhinestones are out of the way, because I don't want to get any spare ones on my tape. Here's the special transfer tape again. Take that off the backing and just come over here and bring it in the middle and just come on out like that. And then I like to take my brush and just burnish it down a little bit with my brush. And when I pick this off, now that's another thing you might want to test, is to make sure, take a little tiny piece of your transfer tape and make sure that your cardstock isn't so fibrous that it peels up little pieces of the fiber or of the card, the paper. But this one works really well. You can see they're all coming up beautifully. Whoopie daisy, I shouldn't have done that. But you know what? We can fix that. I'll show you how. Take this piece that it goes onto and bring this down here on top, and I can easily see where they should have gone. So let's see. This tool is kind of nice too, because it has a backing part that you can press a few down should you need to. I probably should have pressed those a little tighter down. But let's see, where do those go? So this guy, I'm going to get one over here that's upside down, and I'm going to put him right here. I put it on here. Now maybe if I place it down on here, I'll be able to tell. I don't know. I really can't tell where one is missing unless there was one right here. But I think I could just move this one over a smidgen, just with my fingernail like that. Just moving it back and forth a little bit to make it fit. I don't see where anybody's missing, so I think I'm good now. See if you can get a good look at this. So you can see it worked out really well. So that's it. You just use the cardstock. And this will probably be usable for a few of these. I'll have to put it on some parchment paper or some wax paper so it doesn't stick to everything else. But that's it. So that's how easy it is to use these. Then all I would do now is take this over to the t-shirt and iron it on according to the instructions that I've been given for the rhinestones. Okay, and I wanted to let you know about a new series that I have going on for free over on my website, PattyAnn'sPlace.com. It's a 5-part series for those of you who own silhouettes. It's going to help you get that thing out of the box, get designing with it, get started with it. When you sign up over there, in about a day, you'll get the link to the first email that'll have some tips and some images in it, and then you'll get a link to a private video. The video is going to teach you how to set up your mat or your workspace, like I have mine in case you like mine. It's also going to show how to make sure that your blade is in properly. Also, it's going to show you the difference between the various editions that are available to us from Silhouette. And lastly, it's going to show you how to load your mat in properly. So that's the first session of getting your thing out of the box and getting started. There'll be 5 of them. It's a 5-session series, and it's free. Join me over there at PattyAnn'sPlace.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.